G'day there, legends, and welcome back to the Prime Training Podcast. What an absolute pleasure it is to have you all here listening, obviously in the new studio, which we are so stoked about. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Now, we got a little bit of a Q&A to go through today, which is going to be fantastic because I've got a lot of questions that I get asked on Instagram DMs, whether that is my own Instagram DMs or if that's on the Prime Training, mostly in the Prime Training DMs. We've got a lot of different questions coming through. I've just ordered some Uber Eats. What did I get? I got a Chipotle steak with extra mozzarella, lettuce, tomato on Italian herbs and cheese, foot-long bread, which is going to be absolutely delicious after I finish this podcast. I'm going to smash straight into that, which I'm very excited for. All right, guys, let's get straight into it because I don't know why I'm wasting any of your time. We've got plenty of questions to go through today, so let's get straight to it. All right, first question from Peter Floridis. What is the best pointers for naturally skinny guys trying to build muscle? Now, this is a really good question. I was initially a really skinny person when I first started out, my gym and fitness journey. So I think that when you're skinny, a lot of people are looking for secret answers. Guys, the most easiest answer I can give to you is you've got to start eating more. You've got to eat more food. It's such a simple thing. A lot of people say, I have a fast metabolism. Yes, you can have a fast metabolism, but it doesn't mean you can't eat more. You got to eat as much food as you possibly can. So I reckon when I started off, I was just not eating enough. So you just got to eat as much food as you possibly can. If you do want to get a little bit bigger, then that is the way to go about it. All right, groundwork drills. So I'm guessing this is for AFL related ones. I think that the most important thing with AFL is you've just got to be really, really clean with the ball on the ground. So every time that you have got your hands on the ball or you're near the ball, whether the ball's in the air or on the ground, I say to all my clients that ask me about AFL, I say, guys, go and practice being one touch because that is going to make such a big difference when scouts are looking at you, when your coach is looking at you, when the above coach is looking at you. You just got to go and have the cleanest possible hands that you possibly can have. So I reckon that's an absolute key. So just go out and get someone to throw a ball to you and just try and pick it up every single time. Really, really good to do it under pressure as well. So get someone to be on your backside and pushing you forward and then go through that. That's a really good one to do. Then my third question, which is great, from Alex Sakura. I'm going to call you out because it's just how big's your eggplant emoji. Alex, I wish I could give you a serious... Well, no, I don't. I'm actually glad I can't give you a serious answer for this. Mate, I don't know. It's a good question. I haven't really seen that many other ones, so I wouldn't actually know what my size would be. So thanks for the question, though. I appreciate it. All right, moving on. Stephen Williams, good mate of mine from home in Mackay. What do you do? What keeps you inspired? What keeps me inspired? This is a really good question. It's actually something I've had a few times. Like, what do you do to stay motivated? To stay inspired or stay motivated, it's so key that you get up really early in the morning, you write down your goals for the week, for the day, have a little bit of caffeine maybe if you need it. But I think that's really, really key. Writing down your goals, something that I've always been massive on is writing down my goals. And it's funny looking back on your goals a year later and seeing how far you've come with those goals. So I think that's really, really key. Make sure you write down your goals. When you want to stay motivated, the easiest thing to do is just keep going to the gym, keep up with your training. I think that's just absolutely key. And then also find someone that you aspire to be like. So I used to get a lot of shit from my mates for it as well. But I would have Paddy Dangerfield on my wall or Tom Mitchell on my wall. And I would be they get the ball really well. They burst away from packs really well. Or even put it on your mirror, put a photo of someone that you want to be like. That's a really good one as well. So you're looking in the mirror and you're saying, I'm not happy with what's looking back at me. I want to be more like that person or a bunch of people, because you don't want to just idolize yourself on one person, but maybe go for a few different people. I think that's a really good one to do. All right, next question. How to develop more punching power? This is something that you should be asking Taylor Robertson, not me. How to develop more punching power is all about rotation. So obviously practicing your sport as well is going to be key. Punching into bags and also punching into pads and stuff is going to be really, really key. But all about developing that more rotational power. So doing a lot of banded Pallof press, that sort of stuff. Trying to get more rotational torque through that core. That's going to be really, really key for you to develop more punching power. Advice for a bloke that's never played, looking to have a crack at their first season of AFL. Now, let me say this. We absolutely love seeing new people come into the AFL scene. So, guys, if you haven't tried AFL and you're thinking about it, go and give it a go because it's a fantastic sport. I love it. It's a sport that I've pretty much grown up with. Played a bunch of other sports, but probably the key one would be AFL. So, go out and try it. Go to find your nearest footy club. Go out and try. I've had a lot of Irish people ask me, how can I get over and play AFL? Just come over, find your local club, like your local county, and just go out there and play footy. Like, AFL clubs love having new people around. They love being able to teach new people that. I think that if you're really new to the game, the first thing that you're going to have to do is build up a little bit of fitness and endurance, because that's obviously what the game is all based around. And then go into doing some things like your skills. So you need to master handballing, kicking, marking. They're your three really big ones, I guess. Tackling in there as well. I don't do that much tackling. I stay more around the outside of the packs, and sometimes. Make sure you practice your tackling, handballing, kicking, all that sort of stuff. Your skills are going to be really, really important. All right. How do you balance work, sport, and school, uni life, and social life? Tough question. Balance is something that you really need to come across in your life. I guess when you're younger, you're not thinking too much about school. I wasn't really that keen on school when I was young, but then when I got to like year 11, when I went to Hale School, it was actually cool to be smart and good at sport. So it's something that I really grinded really hard. I was like, I need to be really good at school as well. So I ended up really grinding hard on my schoolwork and got a really good ATAR in the end, which I was super proud of. I think mum and dad were proud of me as well, a little bit. I'm not sure. You can never really tell. No, they're great parents. Actually, shout out to mum and dad because I know they'll be listening. But I guess finding a balance for it, I find really, really good to get yourself a diary and just load, like, you can do it electronically. I personally prefer to do it on pen and paper, but like put all the things in the week that you have and then figure out how much time that you've got in that week to like sort out doing things like your social life. Like be realistic as well with how much time you're going to be spending on various things. You've got to be realistic with that sort of stuff. So I think that's a really, really key thing, to just have a structured, organized diary. I love having a structured, organized diary. It makes it's all color coded and everything. It's a little bit maybe a little bit cringe if you look at it, but I love to feel organized. So I think that's a really, really key one. Get yourself a diary, put down everything in a week on a Sunday or something, and then you can figure out how to structure your week based on that. Best AFL player you've lined up on. I remember the first game I played of NEAFL football when I was playing for the Aspley Hornets. We came up against the Brisbane Lions. I don't know if he's the best player, but this is just a funny story. I remember lining up, playing at full forward, and I'm not that tall. I'm 186, 187 centimetres at the time. And I've lined up against Matty Eagles. Now, Matty Eagles, for those that don't know, playing along at home, is probably about 200 odd centimetres, probably about 105 kilos, like absolutely massive bloke. And I actually ended up playing with him at Aspley a few years later in the VFL. Funny bloke, shout out to him, we love him. And I've lined up next to him, and I remember someone taking photos and videos of it. I'm like, shit, this bloke is like triple my size, and I'm like this 18-year-old kid just lining up, like very, very, very young and small, petite compared to Eagles. And I just remember lining up and looking up at him and thinking, fuck, I'm in a bit of strife here. I think I had, that was my first game. I think I had 8 touches and kicked a goal. So not my greatest ever game. Shout out to Eagles for that one. In terms of actual other players I've played against a few good players like Jared Cameron, Dev Robinson, a few of those boys. I guess Callan England was one that was always pretty good when we played against each other in waffle footy. Sydney Stack. There's plenty. I don't know if there's actually one that I could really nail out as the greatest player that I've played against, but I probably need some more time to think about that. I might come back to that in the next Q&A podcast. All right, what's the best workout to do coming back from COVID? I'm a basketball player, to give some context. All right, so when I came back from COVID, I did struggle a little bit with my fitness and endurance. So if you're struggling a little bit with COVID, and then you've got a little bit of problem with your lungs, because obviously COVID will affect your lungs, be really, really careful with how you come back to sport. Like, I think it's really, really important to get into the gym, do some endurance sort of stuff, go for a run, because it does take 3 or 4 weeks to get back to your full fitness. That's in my opinion. So get out. If you're trying to recover from COVID, get out, go to the gym, and go for a run like every day, because it will take a little bit to get your lungs back to full health. So that's very, very key. Get out, go for a run, I reckon. All right, best advice for a teenager that's wants to play in the AFL. So I've always said this, 3 things to focus on if you're an AFL player. The first thing, focus on being really, really clean. The ball's in the air, the ball's on the ground, pick it up, one grab. Second one, be really, really effective with your disposals. So key that you use it well by hand and foot. Third, be the fittest in the team. Always be running, never be walking. They're the 3 biggest tips if you want to play in the AFL or want to get noticed by scouts. 3 massive ones. PP size. I can't with these questions. Some of them are shocking. Ice baths, your opinion. Great question. All right, with ice baths, I personally love them. My personal opinion, if that's what you're asking for, I bloody love them. I'm a massive fan of them. But like, some people don't love them. I don't know. I'm a big fan. I would recommend going for it, trying them, and making up your own opinion. Like, at the end of the day, you can do all the science research in the world on all these kind of different things, different people. Mate, everybody is different. Everyone's going to have different things that work for them, don't work for them. Like, it's just the way that it is. Science can tell you only so much. At the end of the day, what feels better for you. Personally, after a game or a big session, I'll love getting in an ice bath. It is bloody amazing. But if you don't like it, it doesn't work for you, don't just say no because it's cold, because that's not going to help. But like, if you don't like it, don't do it. Simple thing, I reckon. Pretty simple way to go about it there. All right. How often should an athlete do running, and how long should the distances be? Such a loaded question, because it's so hard to answer this based on what sport you play. Like, an athlete, like, such a broad question. I guess, let's just say for an AFL athlete, I'd recommend doing 30 Ks a week in the off season, even more, sometimes 40 Ks a week in the off season. So like, it's a lot of running, but you got to condition your body to possibly be running 20 Ks every weekend. Like, there's games that I've played where I've run 18, 19 Ks. So you've got to condition your body to be able to do that week in, week out, and then stop getting injuries. If you're a basketball player or a rugby player, probably half that, 20 Ks. If that depends, obviously, what position. Like, everything's down to the nth degree. So if you do actually want the answer to that question, Jack Hopebell, then you're going to have to actually message me what sport that you play, because that will just give me a little bit of a better idea, I guess, of how much running you should be doing. If you could change one thing from when you were younger, what would it be? Okay, dead set, true story. If I could change one thing, I wouldn't change like many things. Like, I grew up in a small country town, and then I moved to I started off my life as not very well off. We kind of grew up on a farm, grew up in a really small country town, no more than like 2,000 people. And kind of as I've gradually gone through life, like, basically what I'm saying is I've been able to mix it with all types of people, which I've been super lucky to do. So I think that anytime that I meet someone, like, I can kind of relate to their life experiences, because I've kind of done it all, which I'm super lucky and grateful for. Like, growing up, I grew up small country town. Like, there was like 4 blokes in my year. Wasn't many girls to look at or choose from. So it was a pretty small world down in Kojonup, in Western Australia. So, and then I kind of moved to Mackay, and then I've kind of moved all over. But anyway, that's something that I'm super grateful for. So I'm lucky that I've moved everywhere. But if I could change one thing, there was one thing that really affected me, and that was my acne. I had terrible acne, like really, really bad, and it completely destroyed my confidence. Like, there were some days I couldn't leave the house, like I couldn't even go out. So like, pretty full on. And I'm pretty happy to talk about it now, because like, obviously looking back on it now, like I'm okay. And thank God my skin turned out to be okay. Mum wouldn't let me go on Rakuten when I was really young as well. So yeah, I guess if I could change anything, that would be something that I would change. Going back now, I'd be like, God, I would love to change that about myself. But when I say that, I'm so lucky that I did go through something like that. Like, I'm so glad that I did go through some sort of adversity like that, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't be grateful for what I've got now, kind of thing. Like the confidence that I have now to go out and do things and meet new people. I didn't have that confidence when I was like 17 and 18. Like I kind of had it, but it was all bottled up. I couldn't use it. I couldn't leave the house. And like, I remember I had a girlfriend at the time, and like, I wouldn't even go out and see her because I was like so, just like, I don't know, self-conscious about my skin. So yeah, that'd be something that I'd probably change about myself, but I wouldn't be the same person now if I didn't have those experiences. So it's very hard, but great question. How's Taylor? Not sure who Taylor. No, shout out. I'm headed off to Vegas on Wednesday with one of my friends and athletes, Taylor Robertson, who's a boxer. She's got her world title fight in 6 weeks. So we're off to Vegas on, when is it? Yeah, Wednesday. So a couple of days. So stay tuned for that. Should be very, very fun. Bit of good content. James Phillips, shouted out, favorite group chat on Instagram. It'd have to be the Prime is a Beast group chat. Shout out to those boys. We had a video chat the other day. In fact, I never, ever like answer video chats. So that was pretty funny to meet those boys and have a bit of a laugh with them. Tex Simpson, describe your favourite moment on the footy field to date. Great question, Tex. My favourite moment on the footy field to date was going out and playing with my old man when I was 16. We were both playing league. It was a fantastic experience. Funny story about my old man and I. We wanted to win a flag together. We tried to win a flag when I was 16. Unfortunately, lost the grand final by 3 points, which was no good. And then the next year, I came back as a 17-year-old to try and win the grand final with Dad again. Unfortunately, Dad got dropped for the grand final and I got put into play for his spot. So unfortunately, we couldn't get it done there either, which was sad. But yeah, shout out to Dad. We love him. I know he'll be listening. So love your work, Dad. And I'm sorry that you got dropped for your son. And we obviously won it that year as well. So we won the flag that year and Dad lost the Resi's flag. So shout out to Dad. I'm sorry about that, brother. A few other questions to go through. Best forward flank tips. Forward flank's a really interesting position because it's one of those positions where you work up and the ball gets kicked over your head, you work back, and then the ball, like, you're kind of in that no man's land is what I'm saying a lot of the time. So it's really, really key as a forward flank. You just got to keep running, get on your bike, get up, get back, try and get to the feet of centre half forward and the full forward as much as you possibly can, and try and get forward, really read the play. Like, a lot of people sometimes say, oh, he's being lazy, he's cheating out the back. But that's not being lazy, in my opinion. I think that's being smart with your positioning. So I think that's a really key thing, not just to read the play as best as you possibly can. And as a forward flank, you can work all the way back with the winger, all the way back into a half back flank, and you can get plenty of the ball there. If you're really struggling to find the ball, you can either move back to that half back, kind of really push back very far, or you can work your way into the stoppage. And push up onto that usually skinny winger that's sitting behind the contest. So that's two ways to get around it. I'd recommend. What's more important, eating healthy or training? What's more important, eating healthy or training? I got to say it's a 50-50 split. As an athlete, your nutrition actually, it's very, very important, but not like what you eat. Like a lot of people, let's say bodybuilders, wouldn't eat like a pizza or something because of the macros. But it's very different as an athlete because we need those carbs, we need that fat because we're burning it off so much by all the cardio and endurance that we're doing. So never get confused with an athlete nutrition and a bodybuilder nutrition. It's very, very different things, two very, very different things. So don't get caught in the mindset of I'm eating like a bodybuilder, I need to eat chicken and rice, because that's not going to be key for you. It's fine to go out and eat nachos and pizza and stuff like that. That's actually really good for athletes because it's got all the carbs, it's got all the fat. Like if people ask me, they're like, oh, you're eating a lot of pizza. Mate, pizza's key, mate. It's bloody delicious and it's great for me. And if you're putting in the work and working really hard, then 100%. Now, don't go and get like Domino's every night. I'm not saying that, but don't like, a lot of people think of their nutrition, and if anyone's out there bought my nutrition program, they know that I've got nachos in there, I've got pizzas, fantastic foods that you wouldn't really expect to be eating on a fitness plan. But fitness and athlete nutrition are two very, very different things. All right, let's keep moving through these questions. We've got a lot coming. All right, when is a new merch drop coming? I want one of those blue singlets so bad. Great question. Now, we had a bit of a hold up with the merch. So as you can see, if you're watching on the YouTube, I do have the white LRF shirt on at the moment. Now, we've had a little bit of a problem because COVID has started to hit China a little bit. And it's been a bit of a problem trying to get my products over from the manufacturer. So it will be coming in pretty soon. I think we've got like 4 weeks wait time. I'm picking up the new hats tomorrow, which are going to be very, very good. The hat sold out within 10 seconds, which is just ridiculous. Our corduroy caps, which we love. But yeah, unfortunately, there's been a little bit of a hold up there. And also, we had the floods and everything here in Brisbane, so it was a little bit of a struggle to get everything in. But it will all be coming in very, very soon, so stay tuned. Also, go and subscribe to the newsletter on my website as well, the Prime Training website, because there you will get all of the updates on. You also get pre-sale as well, so make sure you sign up for that so you don't miss out on new merch. How did you build Insta from 0 to now? Oh, it's a good question. Honestly, I've been grinding at this game for 3 or 4 years. It's been a very, very long time. And I've been posting nonstop, and really only the last 6 months. And now everybody sees the success side, and they don't see the 3 or 4 years when I had 500 followers, posting things. Obviously, the TikTok blew up, so a few videos. At the end of the day, it just takes a couple of videos for you to blow up. So keep posting. If you do want to do the stuff that I do, keep posting as much as you possibly can. There is no shame in posting every single day or a few times a day. Like in my TikTok now, I'm posting 3 or 4 times a day. There's no shame in doing stuff like that, because I think one video can completely change your life. So keep grinding at it, keep working hard. You will get there one day. All right. And if you want any tips, definitely hit me up. I'm here for all of you. Daily protein intake. Now, something that would surprise a lot of people, I'd probably say, would be that I don't actually track any of my macros. So it's not something that I did a tiny little bit, but I'm not going to weigh everything that I eat. I don't stress about that sort of stuff. I work really hard in the gym. I go for a run almost every day. I've got a home gym, so I'm in the home gym every single day grinding out. I work really, really hard, and I pretty much eat whatever I want now. I obviously have an idea of what I do want to eat every single day, and how much protein and stuff that I have. I would have a protein shake every second day. I probably couldn't have it every day because I'd get sick of them. So I'd have a protein shake every second day. I guess my protein intake would be around 120 grams to 150 grams. And I'm about 83 kilos at the moment. So that's something that I would recommend you to try and get at. But look, I wouldn't actually know. Yesterday, I probably didn't have that much protein. I had a whole packet of Jats and cheese. Bro, Jats and cheese and salami, the best snack ever. It was on my little drive home from Brizzy. So yeah, shout out to Jats. We love them. P sitting down or standing up. Sorry, I'm pissing myself laughing. Great question. I don't know. Nah, obviously standing up, mate. What kind of a question is that? Scrunch or fold? Also another silly question, but obviously fold. What positions do you play in footy? So right now I'm probably more of a forward. I kind of played as a key forward, full forward last year and then in Darwin. But probably now I've moved more I don't know, I played every single position, and I'm probably going to play more this year as a midfielder, which I do think that where would I fit best in this new team at Noosa? Probably as a midfielder and then / kind of half forward as well. So that's probably where I'll be playing most of my footy this year. Now, also go and subscribe to the YouTube as well, guys, because this year I will be doing I'm getting a full videographer who's going to do the full, just everything, my whole game day vlogs. He's going to be vlogging the whole, everything from what I've been eating, sleeping, to how I play and all that sort of stuff. So do stay tuned for that. Make sure you sub up to the YouTube because that will be very, very sick to watch. Tom Bolsh asked, how are you so good looking? What would be the one thing you eat every day? Probably toast. Every day I start off with Vegemite toast. In saying that, I haven't eaten anything today. It's like, was it 3 o'clock? I had a coffee this morning and I just ordered Uber Eats Subway. So that's like I won't eat that much until dinner. I'll really stay and I work better when I fast. You should try like intermittent fasting and stuff. Like I don't consciously fast. Like in the morning I have a piece of toast, do a workout, and then kind of won't need to eat really that much for the rest of the day. Some days I get hungry, some days I don't. But yeah, probably not a great role model, I guess, it sounds like, for the nutrition. But like, don't get your nutrition I think people get so concerned about the nutrition. Dude, just eat good food, eat healthy. I eat most of my food's organic, which it makes me feel so much better in a headspace. I reckon, like when I go over to America, I eat just like the food over there and I can tell a difference in my mental health. So I don't know, let me know if that is something that you struggle with, because it is something that you should try and eat organic foods, try and sleep 8 hours a night, and then try and also drink as much water as possible. I think that's absolutely key. Favorite part about school footy? Great question, James Phillips. I love you. Favorite question about school footy would be, favorite part about school footy. Honestly, winning. I think winning is my favorite thing to do ever. Like out of all the things that I love doing, I really love to win. Like I have a massive competitive edge, and whatever team that I play in or whatever I do, I want to win. So we won, luckily, the Alco, which is the school cup in year 11 and 12. My two, favorite memories would be of that. Like I played with some great people such as, Mitch Georgiades, Callan England, Gordon Naria, Karen Hayden, some fantastic footballers through there. So had a lot of fun. We had some really good coaches as well. So very, very lucky to do some school footy. The Masashi giveaway is going to be announced as well. That's the next question. When's the giveaway going to be announced? That's going to be announced today. So I don't know. I think I'll put this potty up tomorrow, but it will be announced today. All right, a few more questions. How long do you think is a sensible time frame to shed 20 to 30 pounds? Love the content, by the way. All right, shedding that amount of weight, what's that going to be? Like 15 kegs, 10 to 15 kilos. Realistically, I've shredded down like 8 kilos in 8 weeks or 6 weeks. So it is possible. Honestly, don't eat. Stop eating. Like, guys, how to lose weight. Calorie intake. If you want to lose weight, think of yourself like a car, right? So you're putting fuel into the car and you're like overflowing the fuel gauge, basically, if you're eating more food than what you need. And then that's going to like put on more fat, basically. So just fuel up a little bit, a tiny bit. You won't have as much energy, obviously, but fuel up a little bit, not too much. That is the best way to lose weight. Eat less. There's some days where I used to eat 500 to 1,000 calories. Guys, it's okay. It's not unhealthy to do that. Look at like monks, for example. They go like 28 days without eating. Do you think it affects them? Obviously, some of them are pretty skinny, but like, it's not going to kill you. 500 to 1,000 calories. If you really want to lose weight and you really want to commit to it, seriously, try it out. You will lose weight quickly. Eat less. All right. Thoughts on pre-workout before games? Fantastic. Go have pre-workout before games. Wait to 20 to 30 minutes before the game. Smash some pre-workout. Go out there. You'll love it. You can top up again at halftime if you'd like. Personal preference with all of that. You try it. If you don't like it, don't do it.